Greetings, witches. Today we're going to do a spell using the Waning Gibbous moon, which is the current phase. When you're spell casting, there are different ways to use each phase of the moon. So where I am today, the current phase is the Waning Gibbous, which is the part after the full moon where the moon's getting smaller. And actually, the way you're looking at this, it should be the other direction. So if you're facing this way, it would be like that. So the Waning Gibbous is right after the full moon, as the moon's getting smaller. The best spells to do during the Waning Gibbous moon are spells involving banishing, releasing, letting go of negative habits, attachments, emotions. You can use it for a time of introspection, gratitude for lessons learned, clearing, but not so much about creating. So effective spells include cord cutting, purifying, and reflection. So banishing spells are to banish things from your life, forcing unwanted influence or negative energy away. So let's start with that one. I have had success with this type of spell in the past with burning. So black or dark purple candles are good for that. I have an aversion to dark black candles because I have had negative experiences with them in the past. This one's kind of a dark gray, so we'll go with a dark gray. And in the past, I've had luck with banishing spells by writing down either a letter to someone I no longer want in my life. That's where I've had the most success. I just sat down and wrote them a letter saying, "You are negative. I don't want you in my life. I want you out of my space, out of my energy. You know, I don't wish anyone harm, but I just want you to take your energy out of mine, out of my home, out of my life, out of my influence." And a banishing spell does not wish anybody any negativity or harm. It's just away from my space. So I wrote out this letter and I burnt it. And yeah, I didn't see or hear from them for over a year and a half, even though they were married to a very close immediate family member. They just on their own decided that we weren't getting along and they didn't want me in my life, me in their life. So I just didn't hear from them for about a year and a half. It was very effective and the results were very good. Now, other things you can do besides write a person a letter to banish them from your life, you can use it to release bad habits, just anything you want less of in your life. So I'm going to do, I tore a page out of one of my books, and I'm going to write down some things I would like to banish from my life. Number one being debt. I don't have a lot of debt, but I do owe some money to a friend for a car that I purchased off of them. And I would like that debt to be gone from my life. You can use it also for bad habits. I would like less food and sugar cravings in my life. I would like to banish food and sugar cravings. What other negativity? You can also use it to banish your own emotions. So I would like less resentment in my life. So I can write down resentment. I would also like less working hours at my job. My goal is to retire, but I'm not manifesting right now. I'm banishing. So what I want to banish is my working hours at my job and dependency on my wage. So again, not manifesting. I want less dependency on my wage. I want less working hours at my job. With the goal of retirement, we have to find a way to make that something you want less of. You can also use this time of the moon for cord cutting rituals. Now, when I get the proper candles, I will be showing you how to do that at another video. So what else? I want less negativity. In my life. You can be specific or you can be vague. You can put people's names if you want less of particular people in your life. Yeah, I think that'll do it for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this up. Now I normally would do this at a sink. But I do have this pretty fireproof rolling tray here, which actually depicts the moon phases. I'm going to burn this. To represent the stuff I will no longer want in my life. The things I want less of, the things I want banished, the negative influence I want gone out of my life. I'm going to turn on my little air purifier on my desktop here so that hopefully we don't set off the smoke detector. Like I said, the safest way to do this is in a fire pit, a fireplace. I usually do it in the sink so I can easily put out the flames if needed. We're just going to let it burn away. Give it a little air to get those burning going. Sorry about the noise of the fan. We're just trying to keep the fire smoke detector from going off. I mean, once the writing part of your note is gone, there we go. So that's how you banish things from your life using fire and the phase of the moon. Turn off that fan now. Sorry about that noise. So another thing you can do with the waning gibbous phase of the moon is clearing and releasing, which is what we did. Quite often with this, I will bury it, but it is Canada in the winter, so that's not going to happen right now because I can't even get through the snow to the ground, never mind dig up the frozen ground. If it was summer, I would bury it in the garden, in the flower bed, wherever you can get to an easy place to bury it in the ground. One thing we can do is reflect on the moon's lessons and expressing gratitude for the journey you're on. I try to start every day with that, regardless of the moon's position or the phase of the moon. Now, physical cleansing is another thing we can do with this phase of the moon. We can use herbs like sage or Palo Santo or rosemary to purify our living spaces. I have sage right here. I use sage quite often, and I have just recently cleansed my cards myself. Another member who lives in the household. I normally grow my own sage. I did not have success this summer, so this is one I purchased. But again, you can smudge your aura around your head, your neck, up and down your body, your magical tools. You can do your whole house. I usually like to do it on a warm day when I can open some doors, because if you're banishing out negativity in your home, you want to leave at least a door or a window open, not just for the smoke, but also to let those energies out. You don't want to be trapped in here with them while you're trying to banish them. So I find it best if you can open a front door and a back door and get that airflow to help move the smoke and the energy through the home. So that's another way, is with herbs. Now, crystals to do with protection and cleansing and this phase of the moon are rose quartz. Is one of the ones you can use. Now here's an example of some rose quartz chips. So they're very affordable, very inexpensive. You can get all of this for at most a couple dollars, really. Those are rose quartz chips. I do have a large piece of rose quartz that's natural, so it hasn't been polished or cut to look like any particular shape. It's not smooth. It's really a rough, natural piece of rose quartz. So you can keep that out during this phase of the moon, or really any time. I find it good for amplification and purification of any of your spells or energy work. So as your energy passes through it, it's amplified and cleansed. So you can use this, keep it around for the Waning Gibbous phase. And it also helps with self-compassion and letting go. So again, letting go is also, like the banishment. Some of the oils you can use at this time of the moon are lavender or cedar. I do have cedar, but I don't have it here. It's at my other place. They're good for grounding. So this is lavender essential oil. Oh, it's an old bottle and I can't get it open. But I could have put a few drops onto this paper before I burned it. It would have smelled better, and it would have helped with some grounding since we couldn't bury it in the ground. And yeah, a little more purification and energy to the spell. So those are some things you can do for spell casting at the Waning Gibbous phase of the moon. And we'll be back with more spell videos and more tarot videos. So follow my channel if you're interested in this type of witchy stuff. Have a great day, witches.